All right, and we are live. That is working the way it's supposed to. Let me just double check. Yep, we're good. Okay. So the previous creative mode stream I did here, I actually got 9 of the 16 spawns finished. So the only things left to do now are get the rest of the spawns ready to go, and I forgot to get out my notes. So let me do that. In addition, I also have to get my spawn references here. You can't see it off screen right now. But what I'm doing, I'm trying to make sure that I know exactly what I'm supposed to do. A little closer. There we go. Oops, that's that. Grid. There we go. Okay. So, with 9 of the 16 spawns, this map is really almost complete, as over half of the spawn points have already been placed down. So, I guess what I need to do now is start working on getting the next one going. So I believe I briefly remember what I had set up last time. So what I'll do is I'm just going to do what I did last time. I'm going to select just this one right here, nothing else. I'm just going to only select this one and nothing else. I'm just going to select all the little rods here and all the important stuff. They're important as I need to copy this entire thing very quickly. Yeah, otherwise it would be too hard. I'm just going to select as much as I can this time. We got the hovering platform, got all the walls, that's good. Here's a little trick in case you didn't know, except for like trap-based items like the barriers and things like that, like launch pads, what you can do is if you select all you want first, and then what you do is stare at any selected object and then hit any key. That object is in your clipboard, down in the hotbar down below. So basically, copies everything. Very, very useful trick if you need to quickly get something set up. Okay, so I copied this one. That's fine. As long as I remember the channels, that shouldn't be too big of a deal. Just need to remember the teleporter channels here. Okay. Let me actually make sure that I set this up correctly. Previous ones. Yes, I believe I did. Okay. Okay, now all I have to do is get started on the next step. Which is going to the next spawn point. So I'm going to do this real quick. So I'm going to go over by exactly 19. So I need to go over exactly 19 squares starting from here, in the center. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and that is 19 squares right here. This should be fairly lined up, I think. And now what I have to do is go up exactly 4 squares, including this one. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. And right about here should be the center platform. So let me go ahead and copy that in real quick. And there we go. That should theoretically be the right spot. And it looks about right, but just to be safe. Huh? Did it just delete all that? Why did it do that? must have been a glitch. That was weird. I wasn't supposed to do that. That's alright. There wasn't much to place anyway. So that's not a big deal. Not a big deal at all. It's a very easy remedy. Okay, so just to make sure I did this correctly, I'm going to double check to make sure that I'm using the map as a reference guide. I'm going to make sure I place this correctly. So there should be about 7 squares between the map, and that is exactly correct. Very, very good. Which means it is working, which means I move on to the next step. Just getting this ready. So first, I'll start with this teleporter right here. This needs to be set to 66. As the next channel. And I also need to rotate the teleporter towards the spawn. It's currently facing... I don't want to move my cursor, that might mess this up. Okay. That should theoretically be facing the spawn point. It looks like it is. Very good. Height looks about right as well. Canister, the explosive device here, I don't think needs any tweaking. And now, the next step is to add more barriers for spawn point number 10. This is where my memory starts to get a little fuzzy compared to yesterday. I don't exactly remember. I think I do mostly remember, but I still have to double check a couple of things. Okay, so this needs to be set to blue force field. Height with 3 and height of 0.5. And disable, I think it was 17. That was supposed to be the universal disable channel. Yes, that was correct. Okay, good, good. Now I need to add an additional barrier. And that barrier, but a mutator zone. And what I need to do for this is just allow no building, no open fire, and make it a height of 3. And that should be good. No channels required. And next up, I'm going to go ahead and... I think that might be it for this, actually. So I think the next step... I think I've set everything up already. So the next step, then, would be to go down under the hood and add the next player. So first, let's start over here, ignoring that one over there for now. We're going to copy one of these. That's not quite where I want it. I'm going to put it right here. And I'm going to change the channels to 50 and 10, respectively. Trigger should be kept the same, though. And then what I'm going to do, go wee all the way over here. And what I'm going to do is hit number 2. There we go. And what I will do is place down yet another barrier, just like I did previously. I'm going to make that, just for now, permanently a red force field. Make that a height of 2. And this should be disabled when receiving from channel 10. That means if a player spawned on spawn pad 10, they should automatically disable this. That's it. And the rest settings don't really matter, but it should be right back here. And that leaves only 6 spawn points left. Now, to make sure this is working, I'm going to go copy one of these buttons. And I am just going to hit select channel 50 for this one, which simulates the player going into a portal, and then channel 10, which simulates the player spawning. In case you're wondering, I have to use buttons to test this. Since I don't have 16 actual players who want to sit around during this boring process, I have to use a bunch of buttons to simulate multiple different events. So let's just assume that all other players except 10 spawn. This gets harder and longer to test after each and every attempt. So as you can see, yep, all these are enabled except for this one. That's what I want. Now to make sure this is working, what I'm going to do now is we are going to actually enable spawn 10. We're going to act as if they have spawned. And what I'm going to... Oh, you know what? I did not add a teleporter, but that's okay. I did not add the teleporter. I missed a step. That's why I checked. This, however, is working. This is going to have to obviously be sped up in the future, because it's going to take way too long to start games. But that, for now, it works. Let me just test the actual channel. I know it will probably work. Yep, seems like it's going to work. But let me add a teleporter just to be safe. I need to make sure I do that next time. Otherwise, the system will not work. Also, for this teleporter, I need to change the channels to 50. And that's it. The rest don't matter. Let's try testing that one more time. I'm really excited. I'm kind of excited because this is really close to being finished. I'm gonna enable all of them this time because I know they're working. And I'm gonna simulate the other players spawning in. So let me just do this. So 9 of 10 should have spawned, but there should be no more than that. And that is correct. And let me go ahead and enter this actual portal. I actually got put in this one this time. Okay. And here we go. That down to the same. Let me check to make sure the others self-destructed, and they all did. That's very, very good. And those all are working. That's great. And the map now supports 11, not 10, but 11. No, not 9, not 11, but 10 players. I'm actually going to go a little bit out of order this time. And I'm actually going to do it in the reverse order. I'm going to just give that 51 as a channel. And I'm going to actually get this set up a little bit ahead of time. It's easier. I'm going to give that an extra channel. This is going to be spawn point 11. Got to turn it up to 11. And that's it. Okay, now I just got to add another 4. And I'm going to add an additional barrier. Just going to do red force field. We're going to make that height of 2. And disable receiving channel 11, which is when a player spawns. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to add on an additional player spawn. A little further over. There we go. And I'm just going to set that channel to 51 and 11. But leave the channel 40 triggered on alone. I'm actually going to have to make this a little bigger, I think. I have to make this bigger. I don't know if it's going to fit more. Let me kind of guesstimate. So it's 11, 12, 13, 14. No, it's got to be made bigger. I'm going to have to make it one pile bigger because it's actually not going to be enough. Even if by a small margin, it still won't be enough, I don't think. So, yes. But, regardless of that, put it right there for now just for testing. It's a little faster. This should be the 11 sequencer. And now what I gotta do is go back up again. Let's see, where are we now? We're over here now. So I'm gonna go over to this spawn. And now what I'm going to do is, well, for one, I do need to cover that up. There we go. And now what I have to do is I'm going to start working my way over to the next spawn. So I am right here. So, also, did I face that the correct direction? Yes. Yes, I did. I think the next one will have to face towards the east. Just getting that figured out ahead of time, but let me now move on. Okay, so this one needs to move over by exactly 17 squares. Starting from the center here. So this is 1 square here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. That is 19. That is 19 squares. Let me just double check and make sure that's the right number. Okay, I'm glad I checked that. That's actually supposed to be 17, so all we have to do is go back up to squares. It should be 17 right here. And the next step I have to do is go up by also a set amount of squares. I need to go up to the north by 17 squares as well, including this one. Whoopsies, that's not what I wanted to do. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. That should be 17 right here. Now, what I can do to verify this, though, it's a little trick I'm going to use. I'm going to get like a sniper rifle, something that has a scope. I'm going to look straight ahead. You can see, it's not quite looking right. Now, in actuality, this one is really quite different in its placement. It's kind of strange. That is supposedly, this square right here is actually supposed to be the center, which is kind of strange. That's a little strange. It's strange, because as you can see, it's right over there. But, a little strange. The calculations say otherwise. I guess I'm going to have to check some extra math here. Supposedly, it's supposed to be right here, but let me just check something to make sure that's working correctly. Who knows? I miscounted. There's supposed to be 18 pixels, or 18 squares, from this direction. Okay, so that's 1, 2, that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I had to change my counting a little bit there. I messed up. I actually should have not. I should have stopped talking because I lost count. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. That's correct. Weird, but okay. The other placement should be, according to the map here, that should also be 18. Okay, so it should be 18 by 18, so let's just do this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 18. That is correct. So this is actually supposed to be the placement. I don't know what happened. Uh-oh. Oh, I don't want to do that. No, place. Huh? What? Hold on, what? How is it? There's nothing here. How is it sustaining itself? I have to double check a few things, I think. I may have slightly miscounted. And it looks about where it's supposed to be. Right about here. Okay. I'm just going to double check my math one final time. That's where this is getting confusing a bit. These should all, by the way, be equally aligned with each other. If they're not, then something's wrong. Easy way to tell? Something's not right. Something feels wrong. Like, something feels really, really wrong here, right? I don't know. Something feels funny to me about this. No, okay, I wasn't standing in the center, that's why. It's actually right. So I'm using the other ones as references to make sure that I'm actually doing this like I'm supposed to. Oh, wait a minute. I just realized I need to copy this right here. I need to wait and get that out until here. Actually, I need to be facing this way when I do it. I think I just need to rotate it once. Go right about here. Yes. And it deleted the rest for some reason. I don't know why it did that, but okay. That's fine. I can work around it. Creative mode. Sometimes creative mode is as good as the Fortnite creative mode is. It sometimes does not work the way it's really supposed to, which is kind of strange. Yeah, it's just the nature of Fortnite creative, I guess. You can either complain about it, or you can just work around it. I prefer, personally, to just work around it. It's a little bit easier than complaining about it. Unless it's a big glitch that ruins my builds, and then that's a little bit more annoying. Although I don't really have that happen much. And disable receiving from 17. And I think that's already pretty much set up. Let me get rid of this. I think that's pretty much set up, except for the portal. And let me see. That should be channel 65 and 65, and that's it. Did I face this in the right direction? Yes, I did. I'm going to stand around the middle here. Let me just make sure that that's aligned the way it's supposed to, and you can see it is. Now, I already set up the other spawn points, so let me go in and let me check this out real quickly. Start the free-for-all mode. That's that button. I think I missed one. I did miss one. I did miss one there. And stop it there. Alright, let's go check and make sure that is working as intended with the channel. Yep, that is working as intended. Now all I have to do is I'm going to actually enable this. I'm going to go over and check, make sure that works. It did. Alright, so that is changing channels as expected. There's a lot. It gets harder to check. What's wrong with my mouse? I think my table's messing around with me. There we go. Oh no! No! Oh, I didn't mean to do that. I can't get back in. I didn't want to do that. I accidentally went above the island a little too early. That actually kind of ruined the test there. Let's pretend everyone spawned in. There are actually 11 players. Now all I have to do is go over here and check. And what should happen, there should only be one portal here. It's still activated. Yes, it is. Whoops. Let's go in the portal. See what happens. Alright, so I actually got... Which one did I spawn at this time? Okay, so I'm over here this time. That's neat. It might take a second, as I haven't... It's still in a slower state. I think I missed a lot. Uh-oh. Alright, I'm going to have to check those. I did find another issue. It did work, by the way. That technically did work. But there's a little issue I discovered just now. That is not supposed to be there. There's a missing launch pad from one of my spawn points, which is very, very bad. So what I'm going to do is go around and check to make sure I place all of the spawn points. Or I place a launch pad at every spawn point. So it should definitely be a launch pad at every single spawn. And if there's not, there must have been a couple times where I forgot to place them or something, because there were a couple that were missing launch pads. Glad I checked that. Okay, now I think I'm going to move on to the next spawn point. Spawn point 12. Okay, hold on. How did that fall? 6, 7, 8. No, that was 11. That's right, I changed it up to 11. Okay, let me move up to the north now. This should be at location 17. Okay, so I'm going to go up to the north by 17 squares. So the count is 17 north and then 11 to the west. And that starts from the very center, so you just go this way. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Start over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Actually, I just realized that actually is not going to work in the opposite order. I swapped the order of my counting, but it actually is not going to work, as it might actually mess up a couple things. So we're going to change that up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. That is 17. Stop right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 11, which means it should go right here. Now, let me check if I need to get my sniper. I'm going to check that location. It's wrong. It is wrong again. According to this, it's supposed to be 1 pixel over like this, and according to the sniper anyway. Into the other one. Wait, no, is that wrong? Where is it supposed to be? It's supposed to be right here, I think. Yes. Yes, it's supposed to be right here. So let me just check. I must have, like, miscalculated again. I don't know what's going on with that. I feel like it's constantly happening that way. It's very, very strange. Okay. This should be approximately 7 away from here. In this direction. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that is 7. Okay, that is 7. That is correct. Let's track towards the south real quick. There should be exactly 35 squares this direction. So let's just do a little trick here. Here we go. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 5. Yep, that's 35. That is correct. I'm glad I have the other ones referenced, because this is weird. Okay. So it's supposed to go right here. Let me see where that's supposed to actually go here. I think it's supposed to face in this direction. Now here's the thing. I have to let that sit for a second before I delete these, because otherwise the whole thing will collapse. I don't know why that's been glitching out. It's very, very weird behavior created, but very weird. Also, did I cover the other one up? No. Let's fill that in. Okay, next I'm going to have to add the rest of the objects. For good old spawn point number 12. So first, let's add in our launch pad. Don't want to forget that again. Add our barrier, and that should be disabled when receiving from channel 17. Barrier height of 0.5, 3, and that is it. Oh, and of course, blue force field. Looks good. Let's add in our view teaser zone. Just no to everything, and then And then let's disable, or not disable, but it should be a height of 3. That's it. And of course, last but not least, the teleporter does need to be facing the right direction. It might actually already be facing the correct direction. The only thing it needs is a channel change to 65. I think 67, actually. I think it's supposed to be 67 now. Can I check the prior one? No, I guess it's supposed to be... Let me double check something real quick. This is supposed to be 67 over here. I think this is supposed to be 68. Let me check. 67. 66. 65. Yep, that looks good. Good. Okay. Now all I have to do is go down, back under the hood again. Alright, so this is spawn point number 12, so let's add number 12 in now. Boop. I didn't make too many copies of that, did I? No, good. This is supposed to be 12 and 52. And that's it for that one. Now all I have to do is go over here. Place another one of these bad boys down. Make sure the teleporter channels are changed to 52 and 52. I'm also going to add, I need to add a barrier below as well. I did not copy the way it was intended. I don't know what's up in creative mode lately. It's been very, very buggy. I feel like it's only been a more recent issue. Sometimes the grid snapping doesn't work the way it's supposed to. Until you, like, change it back and change back. Very, very strange. Okay, so, getting exciting. Only 4 spawns left after this. Okay, let's take a look. That should be disabled when receiving from channel 12. And I think that height needs to be 2. That's it. Oh, and red force field. Okay, so only 4 left now. Getting pretty close. Now, I'm just going to test these out. Since I don't have an actual 16 players, just to waste their time and help test this map, instead, I use buttons since they do the same thing. Okay, I'm going to spawn everything in except for the very last one here. I just want to double check to make sure this is not being activated too late or too early. That is disabled for now, that's good. Now let's pretend player 12 just spawned in. What that should do is it should now be enabled, and it is. And now I just have to go and disable all of the other 11. These buttons simulate players spawning in. So that they basically tell, this is just my way of emulating having actual players. Now this should get stuck right here, and that's good to go. Now all I have to do is go back into our 12th teleporter. It'll take me to any one of these at random. So it works. Let's see if the game starts. And the game, I'm going to have to speed that up in the end. It's a little bit slow. Should work. And there we go. And let me make sure, just while I'm at it, let me just check to make sure these are all self-destructing. Ignoring the visual lag, these are actually self-destructing as intended. And ignore the visible rifts. Those will not actually be visible in a real situation with real players. It's just due to the way I have it randomized and set up. Like, it just won't work. Alright, so let's move on. We got 4 left to go. Getting pretty close before I have to move on to a couple last-minute changes. Not last minute. That's a bad way to word it. More like last couple of additions, like items. Okay, so I'm just going to do some of the work now while I'm here. I'm going to go in my reverse order this time from what I did before. What I'm going to do is place a barrier here, make that a red force field. I'm going to set the height to 2, and disable receiving from channel 13, because that is spawn point 13. Okay, and now just while I'm over here, I'm going to add a button. This emulates player 13 going through the portal. And then the other button over on this side, that will emulate player 13 spawning in-game. And for... oh yes, there's one more thing. Before I move on, I have to copy this. Both of these. By the way, pro tip, if you copy a wall and a drift, or any other object that doesn't have like strict grid-based stuff like these builds do, if you want it to keep it consistent, what you can do is just copy the wall and the object, and it'll be in the same exact place. Let me show you what I mean. So if I copy both of these, you can see that the teleporter rift here is aligning, is snapping to the grid just like the wall. So it's a little trick you might want to use just in case you need symmetry. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this to 53 as the enter channel. That disables this portal from working accidentally. And now let's go all the way up here. I'm going to go all the way to my spawn point over this direction. Let's get ready to add number 13 of 16. Just going to take a look at my notes real quick. Okay, so theoretically I should go up about 19 squares. In theory, anyway. I'll start from here. That's 1 square. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. That is 19 right here. Now, the only thing I'm going to check for, there have been some inconsistencies with this counting system I've been using. So let me make sure that's aligned the way it's supposed to, and let me check that. That is perfectly aligned, so that is correct. Okay, good. Now from this square, I need to go over about 4 squares. Including this tile right here, so 4 tiles. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. And right here is where this is supposed to go. So I'll make another one. That should be 3 away from the map, and it is. Very, very good. I'm going to swap that instead with this bad boy. I need to rotate that. I'm going to place it down right here. And actually, you know, while I'm at it, I should close this panel here. Now, the only thing is I can't destroy this yet and disconnect this wood ramp, because if I do, there's some kind of creative mode glitch where it'll actually destroy everything else except for this flying platform. It's an odd, and like the lines here. But it's a very weird glitch. I don't exactly know what causes it, but I have to wait a moment. It doesn't seem to matter, though, as the game seems to think it's not connected to anything, and thus destroys itself. It's kind of weird. Fortunately, this is a very simple structure to have to rebuild. Very, very simple. So all I have to do is do that. And as you can see, that didn't take more than about a couple seconds to rebuild. Now let's get the traps down. So first, I'll place a launch pad here. Place a barrier, and I'm going to make that a blue force field. Make that a barrier with 3 and a height of 0.5, and disable when receiving from channel 17. Whoops. I'll make sure nothing got changed. Yeah, something did get incorrectly changed. I think the width. I think something else, like the depth, got changed. Yes, we don't want that. That's good. Let me just make sure that I think something weird happened with the arrow key and it kind of bugged out. And the last thing I need to change real quick, let me just take a drink first. The last thing I need to change is this teleporter rift. At least for this spawn point. I'm going to make that 69. Nice. And then, that's the channels, and then that's it. And the only thing I have to do after that is change its direction. It should be facing towards the start center of the map, and that is good. And then adds a 13th spawn to the random queue. By the way, all of these will spawn. Players will be spawned randomly at all of these, no matter which portal you go through. So it doesn't really matter. There's no set spawns. Okay, now let's go test this out and make sure I did everything. Oh wait a minute, did I miss a step? You know what? I might have missed a step. Let me go over back here. I think I missed a step. I did miss a step, yes. So, I'm going to move this over a little bit. I missed a step here. This is actually supposed to be spawn point 13's trigger. So let's set that up, and that's it. That's all I have to do for that. Very good. Very close. Very, very close. That button there simulates there being 3 or more players detected by the system. As this map can automatically detect whether you have only 2 people or you have more than 2 people. It's fully automatic, which is kind of the beauty of the map. Okay, so what should have happened is everything except this final portal should be enabled. That's good. Or the final trigger, excuse me. And I'm going to go ahead and spawn in that player. And that should have worked. And they're all enabled now. That's good. It gets a little harder to check these after a while, because the more spawn points I have, the more buttons I have to press. But let me go ahead and pretend that the other 12 players have gone. That's a little jittery. Hold on a moment. There we go. So let me simulate the other, or emulate the other players being spawned in these portals. My mouse keyboard. It's like being very smooth. There we go. And now all I have to do is make sure that's working, and it looks like it is. Yes, it is. And the last step is to go through the portal myself and make sure the game actually starts correctly. Let's go in. Okay, so I actually ended up right here this time. Okay. That's neat. 2, 1, and we are good. Let me just make sure that new edition despawns correctly. Ignore the visual bugs and the rifts. These will not be visible in game. Also, it doesn't really matter if they were. They're one directional. And that's it. Now there's only 3 spawns to go. Very, very close. Very close to being done. Just have a little bit more work to do. So bear with me. Just a little bit longer before we get something different. Alright, so I'm going to get the next spawn set up here. So I'm going to just start with these buttons. By the way, these buttons are only being used for testing. These are all going to be gotten rid of when the final map is ready. These are just used to make... Since I don't have 16 players to stand by and wait for ages to test this, I instead utilize buttons to emulate players. I'm going to get the sniper while I'm at it. I might need that for measurement checking. I did not want a damage volume. That's okay. I'll just ignore that. Barrier. Disable and receiving from channel 14. That is 14, correct? Yes, okay. That is 14. I just want to make sure. I don't know why I doubted myself there. Oh, I did not confirm it. I need to confirm that first. And I want to make this a red force field. Okay. And I think that's all set up and good. Okay. Yes. Very good, very good. Okay. That's ready to go. Now let's go under the hood, over to the system itself. And let me check. Let me go over here and change the channels to 54 and 14. I'm leaving channel 40 alone as we want that trigger to work. You know, while I'm at it, there aren't that many left. I might just want to set these off at some point, but I'm going to do that. I'm actually going to do that later. So I just realized it's going to be harder to test with more of them built ahead of time. Alright, there's only 3 spawns left. All I have to do... Actually, there might be an easier way to do this. Instead of having to count, what I'm going to do instead this time, I'm going to try this out. I'm just going to speed build or turbo build over to this one over here. And this one. And then what I'm going to do... Actually, no, I need these. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to go all the way over to the next one, which I believe is this one. These are all symmetrical, so they're all parallel to each other. I'm going to go all the way over here. I'm going to turbo build in a straight line like this. This is going to make counting a little faster. Okay, by the way, you can't hold control while doing it as it's too fast to the turbo build. Or at the very least, just makes it hard to control. And the intersection here is where it's supposed to be. And this is, I believe, is where it's supposed to go. Look. That's good there. And let me take a look at this direction. That looks about right. Yes, it is. Okay. Because I'm actually, now that there's enough of them, I can actually use all of them as references for the last few. That makes it a lot easier of a process. Rotate that 5 times. Place. I think this will probably break, so let me just check that. Yep, sure enough, as I expected. Now let me go ahead and get rid of these real quick. We don't really need these anymore. Now I know where it's supposed to go. It was a little faster and a little bit more accurate than mostly more accurate than counting manually. Sometimes those can cause issues. Once you have enough references, it's much easier to do it this way. Okay, oops. I put these a little too high up. Also, I need to add a floor here. Going back here. I'm going to add a wall here. Well, I am going to actually add one there, but it's actually throwing me off a little bit. I keep this open during testing just to make this a little bit easier. And I want to make sure I also cover up the previous one. Little opening there. Just for aesthetic reasons. Not that anyone will ever actually see that, though. At least not supposed to. Don't allow building, and I'm going to set that to zone height of 3 for the mutator zone. That just prevents people from breaking these builds. These are actually not indestructible, but they are if you make the player not be able to use weapons or items, or their pick. Now I'm going to add on a launch pad right here. In the end, I'm probably going to have to check every single one of these spawn points just to make sure that everything is set up, just to make sure that the map is working as expected, because it's going to be very hard to test all 16 of these. Because the problem is, there are 16 of these, and these are all, and no matter which portal you go through, it's all random, and it's very, very hard to deal with. So, I might actually have a way to test that in the end, however, but we'll see what happens. I think that's actually it for this one. Except for the teleporter rift, of course. That needs to be set to 70. Just check my notes to make sure that I'm doing this correctly. Yes. Okay. And I do believe this is... Huh? I was going to say, why are those just floating there? There's nothing supporting it. Okay, I think this one's ready, aside from the teleporter's direction. It should be facing towards... I believe like this. That will face towards the... I saw that little line for just a brief moment. You can tell whether the teleporter is direct facing just by that little brief line. I wish they made that more apparent in build mode, but... You can see it's facing towards the center of the map, which is good. I think I'm just ready to test this out. And there's only, after this, 2 more to go. And the map is done. It's very, very close. Alright, let's simulate free-for-all. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. I'm going to not do this one yet. Let's go all the way over here. And that should be disabled, and it is. The reason I'm checking all the time, and for each one, is to make sure that nothing breaks before I move on. That makes it harder to copy and paste each one. And it also might cause an unnoticed issue to slip, and then it might make it harder to fix later. So I'm just trying to make sure I'm just trying to do problem prevention now to prevent more damage. I'd say better be safe than sorry. Okay. Let me disable my patch manager so it doesn't go off. There we go. Let me just check over here. Oh, I almost went through the map too early. Okay, let's go check out the teleporter rift here. Make sure that's working correctly. I'm just going to go through it. Which one did I spawn at this time? I spawned at this one this time. Okay. And it works. Very good. Very good. Now, I'm just going to check to make sure that one did despawn. It did. Good. Alright, 2 left. Down to the wire. Zip. The home stretch. Okay. Let's start with the switch. It's getting exciting. This thing is almost actually done after like hours of work. I'm just going to go ahead and get the traps ahead of time. That should be disabled and receiving from 15. There we go, 2. Oh, right. It's invisible. That needs to be red force field. There we go. This button's already hooked up. Pink. Let me make sure that's right. No, it is not. I'm glad I checked. 5 is what that one should be. And then this button should be number 15. Let me check the teleporter rift, make sure that's correct. I don't think I set the teleporter rift correctly, so I'll just fix that real quick. Okay, very good. And now, there is just a couple more to go, so I'm going to get started on the next one. I'm going to use a similar technique to what I used before, and it's going to make this a little bit simpler to work with. So I'll start by going over to where the next one is going to be, and around that point, I'm going to create some tiles. I'm going to go up to this one. I'm just going to do this. Oh, you can't actually hold control and turbo build, and it's insanely fast. There's the intersection. Right there is the intersection. Let's get rid of this and that. Now I'm going to move that around where I want it to face. Face it down. It'll probably destroy itself a little partially there. That's okay. Not a big deal. I'll destroy this wood here. And then I'm going to take a wall and put that over here, cover that hole up. And then I'm going to go over here and I'm going to just destroy one of these planks. That will cause this whole little structure thing to tear down. And then just build right here. Place a tile up like this, and here we go. Launch pad, barrier here. Let's set that disable channel to the universal channel of 17. That single channel is what really starts the game. It disables all the other force fields. We got a height of 5, 3, and that's great. Now I just have to add a mutator zone underneath. That should be no for building, and a height of 3. I have to make it height of 3 so people don't jump and try to destroy the builds. Because if it was a height of 2, they could actually destroy that top little layer. If they try hard enough. I think this is actually, aside from the teleporter rift, is ready to go. I need to set to 70. I think that's 71 now. Is that 71 now? For the teleporter rift? I just realized I didn't check to make sure this was in the right place. Oh, I made a mistake. I made a little mistake here. I was supposed to check to make sure this was in proper alignment, and I was wrong. Yes, that's why I should have checked first, because now I have to actually move this thing, and some of those objects on this will not come with it. Also means I have to select everything, which is kind of tedious. So how much do I have to move this up by? I see, I think I made, that's where I made the mistake, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna guess. I'm just gonna eyeball it here. I'm gonna say it's right here. I might have been off a little bit there. We'll see in just a moment if I was right or not. So it's a little out of view. Oh, was I wrong? Was I one off? Yeah, I was just one off. I was literally one off there. Well, it's better being completely wrong, I suppose. This thing did feel a little bit funny there. I'm glad I checked. That would have been disappointing to find out later. Oh. Some of these rods not yet selected. And I think that happened before, too. Boy, getting down to it and I'm making all kinds of mistakes. It's okay, though. It just happens from time to time. Now you understand why I have to check everything so carefully. Because, obviously, if you make one mistake and you don't fix it, it's just going to cause a deeper web of mistakes. Just check my alignments using my scope here. It looks about right to me. Very, very good. Okay. Now it's where it's supposed to be. I think. Is it? Was I right before? Hold on, I think I was right. No, I was right! I doubted myself when I shouldn't have. I was actually right the first time. Or the second time around. Should have not doubted myself there, because I actually did it right. Fortunately, I'll have to reset all those traps, which is a little unfortunate, but... Alright, so this should be about the center of the tile here. Yep, just keep in mind I'm a little bit offset from this line because of the right-hand peeking aspect. It actually messes with the camera. In the way it behaves. Okay, now I can actually reset the traps. As quickly as I can. Without getting it wrong, that is. That should be good right there. Let's add that nice little mutator zone. that. I think that is it. Now, aside from the teleporter, I think that is supposed to be 71. Let me just double check. Yeah, 70. Okay, that's supposed to be 71. Just want to make sure. And I believe I already set up the other ones. No, the only thing I have to do now is set the teleporter to where the spawn point is supposed to go. I think I'm supposed to rotate that one final time. Yep, that's correct. Make sure the height is right. Yes, okay. That's it. As long as this works correctly, this is going to be the semi-final one, and then we have one more to go. But that assumes that it passes its test. I'm going to activate every other spawn point except for the final one. So that emulates players spawning in. Let's go all the way over here. And everything is enabled. Wait. Everything is enabled. That's wrong. And that is why I checked. You know what? Did I add spawn point 15's trigger yet? If I didn't, I need to do that. Let me just check something real quick. So that should be... It's 12. That's 13. That's 14. No. Okay, I skipped a step there. That's what went wrong that time. I have to add the trigger for spawn point 15, and that's why it didn't work, because it didn't exist. See, this is why I check in between. Otherwise, I could have made a lot of mistakes later on. Especially if that happened early on, it would have been even worse. Because then I would have been copying and pasting that same trigger, and it would have been a mess to have to try to scramble through. Better just do it in advance so you don't get as confused. It did technically work. Let's spawn that player in. That should enable that one. Yep, there we go. By the way, just to let you know, this all, in theory, would happen... This actually would happen in a regular game. This would all happen in the very, very beginning, before players could even move. This would all be pre-calculated. What's available, how many, like the 1v1 mode versus the free-for-all format the map chooses, it's all pre-calculated in the very, very, very beginning of the map. So, in theory, the buttons wouldn't even be necessary because this is all automated. The buttons just emulate having more players. That's all the that's all the buttons are made for. That's all they do. This might take a little bit to test, but let's go to that semi-final portal. And I ended up on the eastern side this time. There we go. Let's just make sure that that new one over this direction despawns. It did. Ignoring the visual bugs, it did despawn. Alright, this is it. This is the final stretch. And then we move on to the most important, one of the other important elements, items. Alright, we're getting down to it. This is it. This is the last spawn point that needs to be set up. Everything seems to otherwise be working as expected so far, so that's good. This is channel 56. That's the last Rift channel. Needs to be 56. Also the last Teleporter Rift channel. Right here. That needs to be 16. That's the last emulation button. And I need to go down. And actually, I need to get my traps for one. And disable when receiving from channel 16. Make that a red force field. I do 2. That is it. Okay. Last barrier. Alright, here we go. This is it. Alright, so this is going to be the last, very last one. This is it. This is number 16. This is the final one. And come a long way. A very long way since I started working on this. I'm actually going to permanently put this one over here now. That is what starts the game right here. So this basically is a checker to make sure, a verification checker to make sure, or a validator, if you will. This basically checks for make sure every player is ready before the game starts itself up. Because otherwise that would be unfair in multiple ways to multiple players. Let me actually tighten that spacing. It's not letting me tighten the spacing here. Oh, I'm using 8, aren't I? Yeah. That's supposed to be a grid spacing of 16. That's supposed to be as tight as I can get it. Look at all these nice little things here, huh? Wide A sites. Also, if you don't have more than 2 players, this is actually the spawn point you'll get. I have some adjustments to make to it, though. But for now, they're very, very minor, though. For now, though, let's begin with this last legal step. First, I'm going to actually go in this direction. I'm going to do this correctly this time. I'm going to go sideways first. Go this direction. That should be about the correct alignment, I believe. Let me just check with my scope where I'm supposed to go. It's supposed to be right about, I think, on this one, I believe. Yes. Let me just turbo build my way over. It's so fast, it's actually very hard to control. I'm getting myself a little confused here, I think. The last one should go... Okay, so these should be parallel. This one right here. Oh, I see. I'm using the wrong basis for a reference here. That's what's happening. I'm using the wrong one as a reference. I think. Oh, I see what I'm supposed to do. I think it's... No, I don't see what I'm supposed to do here. Let's forget this calculation method. I'm just going to go with my gut. And figure it out myself. Let's figure out what this axis first. Let's try that again. I think I know what I did wrong. Oh, nope, no, don't do that. Don't do that. I'm a little tired, I think. It gets confusing after a very long period of time of doing this. Let's start this way. I believe this is actually what leads to it. Let me just check my... I don't have a scope anymore. I'm going to check my scope. That looks about right. What I'm going to do is turbo build this way. Ignoring these two here. Now what I have to do to have the final placement is I just have to... I should be checking the map for this, to be honest with you. Actually, I just realized I don't think this is actually... I think I'm doing this incorrectly. This is actually not working. I don't know how I did it earlier. There's a way I did it earlier that was pretty effective, but I don't remember how to do it now, so I'm just going to do a different method entirely. I'm going to go starting from this one. I'm going to go down about... I'm going to go up by 11, and then go over by 16. Now, all I have to do, starting from this one, is go up north by 11. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11. I'm going to check that, make sure that's correct. It is. And now I have to go over by 16. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14, 15, should be right up here. Let me check my map. Doesn't seem quite right. It's not a... Oh, wait, never mind, it is. That is about the middle of the square. That is absolutely correct. Let me check the orientation going this direction, though. It might not also be incorrect. And that is actually correct. This is actually the exact spot it's supposed to go. That will very likely break apart as soon as I remove that, and sure enough it did. Alright, this is it. The last spawn point. Come a long way to get this map done. A very long way. Okay. This is theoretically the very last spawn point. And that's it. Now, I have a way of testing these all later, and you'll see what I'll do for that. This needs to be the final channel of 72 for this portal. I think the rotation is already correct. That's good. Now, last but not least, the traps. Height of 3. No. Looks good there. And I'm going to go a little slower for this part since this is the very last one. Just to make sure I get it right. I'm going to make that nice blue force field. Clear height of 0.5 and 3 and disable when receiving from channel 7. I believe this is it. This is it. Yep. I'm going to make a backup of my island right now. Just to be on the safe side. Just so I have it for later. Alright, here we go. The final test. Or the semi-final test. I actually lied there. There's actually one final test. That I have to do after this, just to make sure all the portals are working. But for now, this is, however, the last portal test. Okay, so you can see that worked as expected, but let's go over to here. Ignore this. I think this is just a visual bug. It actually stopped. If I hit it again, you'll actually see that it changes. That's just a visual glitch. You can see all that, except for this one. Oh, wait a minute. No, that's actually right. That's right. Yep. Okay, that's right. Okay, we're good. All I have to do now is go back in. I have a temporary opening up here so I can test stuff behind the scenes. Let's go ahead and enable. Let's interact with this one. And let's make sure it's actually preventing that from progressing. Yep, and they're all enabled. Nice little pretty row of lights there. Now all I have to do is go over here. And all I have to do now is despawn the others. Spawn myself. Just to make sure that's still working as expected. Let me make sure. It is. I'm actually going to visually test this since I don't have any more spawn points to make. Yep, you're good. Now what I'll do is go back. I'll go through that portal and see if it works as expected. Okay, so I spawned this one this time. Let's see if the game actually starts. It might take a second, and in the final version, that will be sped up a little bit so it doesn't take too long. Here we go, and it seems to work. I need to fix that. small thing I need to fix there, but everything despawns as expected. Now, to move on, there's actually a couple things I do need to test for and change. One, I need to lower this timer, which delays the explosion, so you don't get nuked too early. Oh, yes, and before I move on, one more thing. I also need to place a very temporary teleporter rift. This is going to allow me... I'm going to actually make this multi-directional just in case, but I'm going to make that group Z. That's since it's not being in use at all. I'll change target. Everything else doesn't matter. And I'm going to copy that and bring it all the way to around the center of the map. In order to test all 16 of these, I also need a way to get back into the spawn zone, or the spawn room. So let me pretend that all 16 players are in the game. I'm going to go through each single portal individually. That's right, each single one. I spawned from that one last time, I think. By the way, that rift should have disappeared. It did. Survey. I'm going to go through this very center portal. In the center of the map. Teleport over here, and we go to the next portal. Takes you to a completely different location. This should no longer work again. Whew. Go through that quick. 3. Okay, so I went up here. As you can see, every time you go through, it's completely random. You actually have no idea what awaits you. And I'm up here now. Everything seems to be working as expected. Part of this test is actually to make sure that the game starts properly as well. It would suck to have a game of 16 people and then just everything not work. So basically I'm just doing 16 players' job alone. I'm doing a 16-person job alone of testing all this. I obviously don't have a team of people to help test this out, so... doing it manually is good. This also tests to make sure the spawn points are all working as expected. And if it's not, we'll find out very quickly. And I'll also figure out which one is not working. So we'll find out pretty quickly if something is not working correctly or as expected. I'm actually going to, once I go through all these, I'm not going to actually go through the 16th one until I check the other ones. One right there. Back to that center portal. A few more to check. As you can see, this game mode this map is designed to work with up to 16 full players. The reason I have to use a teleporter rift to get back here is because I can't get back to under the island until I restart the game completely, which I can't do during testing. So instead, what I do is just use one in the center of the map, and I teleport through it, and get back. And there's one more. And now what I'm going to do, I'm going to go around the clock here, and of spawn points, and I'm going to figure out and make sure all these are working as expected. There should, at this point, there's no barrier on this one. I need to check this one. Which one is that one? Okay, the one right here. I need to check that. That is not working as expected. That's actually the last one, and that will actually cause issues, so I need to check that one. I don't know. There's no barrier. I don't know if there's a mutator zone. Let me check to see if there's a mutator zone. There is a mutator zone. I just saw the visual effects there. There's a mutator zone, just no barrier. A couple of these don't have barriers, it looks like. Are they invisible, maybe? Oh, they're just invisible. Okay, so a couple of them aren't working correctly, so I'll have to check all the barriers. It's still actually there, it's just invisible, which is not supposed to be the case. It's actually this one, and it's this one over here as well. Okay. Otherwise, they're all working as expected. But I'm glad I troubleshooted that. Or, I'm glad I bug-checked that. So for this last one, the game should start. Here we go. And that, ladies and gents, is it. That's it. Okay, the spawn points, at least in theory, should be finished now. Let me just check my work here. So these should all be working as expected. Yep, everything looks pretty good. Under the hood. Okay. Forget what that button does. I'm going to ignore it for now. This doesn't matter now. So I have a couple of minor fixes I have to pull there, but aside from that, everything went very, very smoothly. And I would say this map is 95, maybe more like 90% done at this point. The map is 90% finished. The only thing I have to do is go to a couple of spawn points. I'm gonna have to check all. I'm gonna check all the barriers just real quick and make sure they're working as expected. Oh wait, I can actually visually see which one. I don't have to check each one. They should visually show up. Yep, just like that. So these actually are working. They're just not. They're just invisible for some reason. I don't know why I didn't set these to the. I don't know why I didn't set that to the blue force field, but okay, it's not a big deal. Just a little misstep. It's better than having a game-breaking function. Like that's just a visual issue. It's better than having a system breaking issue. You can also check to make sure. Hey, look at that! I did not place a mutator zone here. That is a total. That is totally exploitable by a player could easily exploit that and destroy this build and just do all kinds of janky stuff too early. I don't really know. That also disables items like shockwave grenades from being used too, so it prevents people from getting unfair advantages, like maybe getting an unfair positioning advantage. Just important stuff like that. But I'm going to check all 16 of these real quick just to make sure, starting with this one here. Okay. I'm going to mark this actually right here. And they should have everything working. I already checked for the self-destruct properties in these, and they're all working. Okay. Just kind of briefly checking these to make sure they're working. Because I don't want to have these be an issue later. I already checked the teleporter rift, so I don't have to check that. And I think that's it. Yeah, okay. So, that's exciting. These are done. Now, before I move on, there's a couple things I actually want to configure real quickly. Starting with these. So, one thing I need to actually work on is I don't want these all the way up here. I want these kind of more just down here. The problem is I can't really put it down here, as otherwise it clings to the ramp. For some reason. That's very, very exploitable. So what I'm going to do instead is do something a little different. I'm just going to place these temporary sort of floors. The player will actually never see these. At least for the most part, they won't see them. Even if I go all the way over here, like the player will not ever notice. Unless you like really, really turn the camera like this, you'll never probably notice it. You know what? Actually, I have a better idea. Find like a grass tile. Is there any of that? That's shrub. I don't want props. It has to be building only. Let's see if I find something that blends a little bit more with the grass. There's a lot of tile sets here. Well, that is actual. Whoops. That is actual grass. That is, like, quite literally grass. I don't know if it's a building tile. That is a building tile. Holy cow. Aside from, like, movement, you cannot tell that is not a grass tile. Holy cow, that's really good. What I'm going to actually do Okay, so these barriers do have specific channels I have to keep in mind, so I do need to remember these. But what I'm going to do, actually, is create a couple of new barriers. This is just a little tweak I'm making to the 1v1 mode. Make it a little bit, just to make it a little bit more balanced. What I'm going to do is place a trap or barrier like this. I'm going to make it a blue force field. I'm going to actually make all of them blue force fields this time. All that doesn't matter. Except it needs to be hollow, and the width should be 3 and a height of 0.5. You know, now that I'm looking at it, it is kind of low. Yeah, you know, when I look at it here, it's a little bit on the low side now that I look at it. Yeah, never mind. I'm not going to do that change after all. I don't like it. Yeah. Yeah, no. I'm good. I did just get another idea, though. A bit more of a clever idea. I'll just reuse a... Can I do that? No, I can't do that, actually. Never mind, that's not a bad idea. Alright, well, fortunately, that is good now. I'm not going to make any adjustments to this, because I actually don't want to anymore. The only thing I will change, though, I will change this to a blue force field. It's a little more inviting. There we go. That's it. Okay. Alright, I think this is actually the final step in this map before we can open her up. At least to, viewer streams. I can't actually, unfortunately I don't have enough of a follower base to submit the map, but that won't stop me from at least trying to play it with people. But, there's one final adjustment, I believe, aside from getting rid of all these buttons, that I have to make. Actually, can I get rid of the buttons now? Did I already test everything? Alright, I'm going to make a backup real quick before I do that, just in case I delete something. Just see, I almost made a mistake there, so that's why I want to always back up your works in this mode, just in case. I think everything is theoretically working now, so all I have to do is I can actually go ahead and get rid of all these buttons now. I no longer need any of these testing buttons, so... And that is why I made a backup. I deleted a spawn pad, and that is not good. That is why I made a little backup. See, now it's back. That is why it's always a good idea to back up your works, because you never know what could go wrong. I'm going to be really careful as I get rid of these this time, so I don't accidentally delete something dumb. These hitboxes on these aren't very big, so I have to be very, very careful. Careful now. Careful. Okay. There we go. That's pretty good. Now all we have to do is get rid of these buttons as well. Again, these were only used for testing. They were just used to test and emulate player spawns and entries. But I've already tested everything I need to test, so at this point everything is pretty much working from what I'm aware of. So I can go ahead and just get rid of these. I'm doing it very cautiously though. There we go. Now, ask us a question real quick here. Did I put the rifts a little too low? Let me look. Did I put free-for-all rifts just a little too low? Let me just enable this temporarily during all. Just temporarily, just so I can visually see what's happening. You know, I might have... Does it look different? I think it is different. Yeah, it's not right. Glad I checked. Alright, just a small visual, I guess what I would call an OCD issue. But all these are just a little low, so I'm just going to go to all 16 teleporters, or rifts, and just make sure that they're all lit up a little bit. I don't want it moving. Oh, no, don't do that. I just want it lifted up. I don't want to actually move it too far. I just want to move it up, like, literally one on the grid. So just take just a moment before I can move to the final step. So I'm being a little finicky. There we go. Boop. Okay. Let's raise some happy little teleporter riffs. There we go. Okay. Let's check. Did I do that last one correctly? Yep, okay. Just doubting myself for no reason. But it's better to check. Okay, there we go. That's better. I like that. Anything else I need to worry about here? No. Alright. Okay, so I already have presets, and in case we want to use random items, there are already random items, and a guaranteed shotgun in case you get robbed by RNG. But there's one last step I didn't really take into account, or not take into account, but one we need to still do before this map is 100% finished. Which, of course, is adding the rest of the items. Now, there are some basic presets, but they only give you two different types of ARs, the burst and regular ARs. You get the shotgun of your choice, depending on what you see here. By the way, this isn't actually implemented yet, so this is just disabled. But then you also get a sniper and a submachine gun, like a tactical one. But there's still a lot of other items in the game that don't really exist, that aren't a part of these presets that I wish to include, at least purple variants of. So what I'm going to do is, in order of how they're listed here, I'm actually going to... Well, first, before deciding that, we need to calculate how many items there actually are. So I have a calculator next to me. It's off screen. But I'm going to do some quick maths and figure out how many weapons there are. So there are rows of 5 each. I'm going to focus just on purple for now. There's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, and there are 35, 36 items total in the weapons category. Excluding the... Is the boom bow? I think boom bow... I don't know if the boom bow is actually part of it. I may have to include a couple of gold items in here. Some of these don't have purple variants. The boom bow does not, and the infinity blade doesn't either. Well, I might not include the infinity blade, but I might include the boom bow. I might include the boom bow. Unless these do the same thing. I don't think so. No, they're quite different. No, they're definitely quite different. Okay. So except for this, I might make that 37 just for the boom bow. Just so that's implemented. Now, let's get to the consumable items. Okay, so I want to, except for like mats, I might include that maybe as a last minute thing at some point. But aside from these, let's talk about these. So we have one item here, that's the bandage. We have 5 items here. And then we have more. Another row, another row, another row, another row, another row. And I think that's like, I would consider that more of a harpoon gun, more of a weapon than a consumable, but, oh yeah, and I can't forget the jetpack. I think there's about 80 total items, excluding the jewel and the flag. I'm not really including those. Those don't really count. So, there are about 80 items. I think the spawn item limit, the spawn item spawner limit is about, was it 100 or 200? I don't remember. I have to test that in a moment, once I get everything placed down. Because I can move I can actually move, where is it at? Yes. I can actually move the item spawners later. The placements for now won't be entirely final. I do need to figure out, though, how I'm going to place them, though. I'm going to do drops on and grid 8. I'm gonna actually just real quick change some stuff with this rift. This is actually the last step. So this is it. After this, the map is done. So let's do no random spawns. They respawn. Visible during games. This is fine. Time before first spawn. Let's make that immediate. Or instant. And between spawns is also instant. There's no cost. No bonus ammo. Don't need that. No run over pickup. Enable game start. Yes. Continually spawn items. No. And that's the one I'm going to work with. I'm going to back up real quick. Here we go. Now I just got to get all the items placed in here. Alright, but first, before I do that, let me decide where these are actually going to go. Is that on that grid square? I feel like that's a little offset. Let me double check that. Yeah, it's actually not quite. Is that aligned to the grid square here? No, it's not quite aligned correctly. Huh, okay. Well, I think what we can do to fix that is just select all of them. And just shift it over. I think we need to lower the grid spacing. Like 16. No. That's not right in the right spot. I'm just going to pre-calculate a very rough placement for these. I'm actually going to probably have to adjust more afterwards. It's not quite in the restraints of the square, though, is it? No. I'm just going to move everything over a little bit as well. And it's not too hard to do. I think I messed up a little bit here. Make sure that drops all the way to the ground. I have drops turned on, so it just aligns correctly with the ground. It's too far away. This is just a little bit of OCD detailing, but I think it's good to keep that symmetrical. I'm just kind of testing out the layout. I think I like this layout pretty good here. There will also be some on the other side of the player as well, so I'll probably just select these real quick. I'm going to have to, obviously these are going to be filled up, but for now they'll be empty. Again, I'm just kind of testing what I want this to... Whoa, okay, that's a little funky. Not quite right alignment, though, but it doesn't really matter too badly. That's good. Okay, so this is what it would look like right here. It might actually be a little too tight. It actually might be too tight. I want that space out a little bit more. It's not quite confined correctly, but that's okay. At this point, I'm not going to OCD too much about their positions, especially since these might change later anyway. That's fine. Actually, I'm good with this. This is a little bit wider. I like this better. Now we got the positioning figured out. I just have to place items in them. This is where it gets tricky. I have to place it directly into one at a time. So what I'm going to do is go in order of the creative mode, except for the boom bow. So we'll do scope revolver. See if this wants to work. We'll see. I need to back up before I do this. Next, I'm going to get the hand cannon, the pistol, the revolver, and the 6-shooter. Let's place this one in. Hopefully it goes directly into this one, and it did. Very good. Let's place this pistol in this one. Hopefully that works. It's actually doing this correctly, which is good. Revolver. goes into this portal. That's very, very good. And last but not least, that was the 6-shooter. New row. I'm going to include everything, even the stuff that's in the presets already, too. Next, I have the suppressed pistol. Over here, I have the dual pistols. And then I have a combat shotgun. And now moving on to this side. First, allow me to copy these first. Actually, let me make a whole other category for these as well. Not quite the correct placement. We can fix that. I think these are clipping through the ground. Let me fix that. Okay. Looks about right to me. Yep. That is very right. Very evenly spaced. That's good. Alright, now I'm going to add the tactical shotgun in this one over here. And over for this one, I'm going to add in the double barrel shotgun. Into the right one. That's good. Let's make a backup real quick, just to make sure that everything is actually going quite well. Heavy shotgun, pump shotgun, compact SMG, submachine gun, and the tactical submachine gun. Alright, so that's the heavy. That's the pump shotgun. That is the, that was the, I think that was the, which one was that? These look exactly the same. Okay, that was the compact. This is the regular submachine gun. And this is the tactical sub. And there's only one more portal here. And that will have the next set of items in it. Getting into the ARs now. So starting with the tactical assault rifle. Let me make another copy of these real quick. Looks good. And let me get started down the row again. Ah, so close. AR. That should go into the slot here. This has actually been working quite well so far. There's the heavy assault rifle. And then the burst assault rifle. And then the suppressed assault rifle. And the next set of items. I'm sure I'm on the right road here. Okay, next up is the thermal scoped assault rifle. Very good. The infantry rifle. The automatic sniper rifle. The Storm Scout sniper rifle. Make another copy of items here. Or the spawn pads. Not spawn pads, the item spawners. Go down the list again. That's why I'm only doing purple. There's a lot of items here. Oh yeah, okay, the last one was the bolt action. Next, there's going to be the heavy sniper, the suppressed sniper, the LMG, the minigun, and the grenade launcher. the heavy sniper, the suppressed sniper rifle, the light machine gun, the minigun, the nade launcher, and moving on from that are the proximity grenade launcher, rocket bow-ferrous rocket launchers, quad launcher, and the Fiend Hunter crossbow. Didn't quite go in. There we go. I think everything so far has worked as expected. And last but not least is the Cupid's crossbow and the boom bow. The only reason I'm adding a gold item is because it's the only kind in existence. And just for kicks, I'll add the Infinity Sword as well. That's not quite the right one, but that's okay. Just for kicks, I'll have the Infinity Sword in case people want to make a little custom game. Or something like that. Looks good. I'm actually going to move all these to the center because I'm going to make consumables sort of a separate category. Not quite. One, two, three. I just realized I have custom grid spares built in. That's nice. So pro tip, these have built-in grid spares. Fine. It's about the same, I guess. But let's take a look at also these. Oh, they're about the same, actually. More or less the same. That's good. And that is every single weapon that you can get in this game, at least in purple and gold and mythic categories here. I've only opted to include... Is there anything else actually that's gold exclusive, or is that it? No, everything else does have a purple variant. That's good. Okay. All I have to do is add a little bit more. I'm going to back this up first. And then I'm going to make an extra copy here. Following what these previously did. I believe that is correct. Yes. Moving on to the consumable items now. I believe that's right. Let's get going to the consumables now. Oh, you know what I just realized? I guess the harpoon gun, I'll consider it a consumable. But I'll just put it early on. Actually, no, I consider that a weapon. I'll put it at the end here. These two. I'll just have to resort a little bit. I'll just have to resort a little bit, but that's okay. I would consider that more of a weapon than an actual consumable item, to be honest with you. I'll just put it at the end here. You see that's even. The problem with these grid square textures they added in, they're not that useful. They actually are, the texture is misaligned like right here. It's very strange. And so that should be even looking here. Yep, that's good. Okay, I forgot to add the harpoon gun as an actual item. I'm gonna copy these at least a few times. Alright, moving on to consumable items. And this is the last step, I think. Starting with band-aids, medkits, small shields, big shields, and slurp juice. Yeah. Oh, wait, you know what? Let me reset this. Clear the items real quick. I forgot with consumables, I should make sure I'm having a set amount of these. So for bandages, I'll include 5, just like in regular game. Medkits only need 1. Small shields should include 3, and big shields only need 1 as well. I forgot about the numbers they need as well, because that affects the item spawner. So I'll just replicate how they would spawn in-game. But you can take as many as you want. Ooh, no, that was incorrect. I'll just clear the items for this one. Just to make that simpler, but that was not correct. I might have gone a little too fast, to be honest with you. And drag that in. Hopefully I didn't go into the wrong one. It did not. Good. Alright, next is Chug Jug. Big Splash. Okay, so it's coming with 6 here, but they actually in-game come with only 3. So I'm just going to toss these overboard here. I'll split them up. I think these are supposed to only come in 3s. I think. Or was it 2s? I don't remember. I'm just going to make it 3 for now, just to make it something even. Or odd. Yeah, just keep it an odd number. I thought they only come with 3s. Maybe they might have only come with 2s, actually, now that I think about it. I don't know how the seasons change that, though, but I'll just keep it 3 for now. Advantage Bazooka. And Shield Bubble. Okay. Starting with the Chug Jug. Now I'm going to put that in with the Chug Splashes in. Hopefully I went the right one. And then I'm going to put the Bandage Bazooka in this one. Okay. That's right. Now let me see here. What I'm going to do now... Oh yes, the Shield Bubble is next, isn't it? Very good. Now, Small Fry. These always come in 1. Rusty Can and a Chiller Grenade. I always see... I'm going to assume this needs to be 3. Just because nades usually in the regular games come with just 3. So I'll put a couple of those aside. And let's start with the Small Fry first. The Flopper. Slurpfish. The Tin Can. And the Chiller Grenade. I don't think anyone will use the Tin Can, but a Rusty Can, but, you know, you never know. Okay, we have grenades, clingers, smoke grenades, shadow bombs, stink bombs. Okay, let me actually just set these up real quick, because all of these have different numbers. I think stink bombs... I think nades only are supposed to come with 3. 3, 3, and I think that we'll just make that 3 as well. For now, I don't know what they were originally, because I wasn't around that season when the shadow bombs were introduced. I will just split these. I think that'll do 3 automatically, so I need to actually choose 3. I think these only come in stacks of 2 from what I remember. You know, I think just for consistency purposes, I'm just going to make it 3. I don't remember the actual amount. Also put those aside and make it 3. Put that in some regular nades. Some flingers. Is that 5 or 3? I'll have to check that. Gotta copy some more, I think. Man, these are getting filled up here, dude. Like, there's a lot more going on here. Like, it looks a lot less than it actually is. There's a lot of stuff that's been introduced to the game. Smoke grenade. Smoke. Shadow bomb. And a stink bomb. Boogie bomb. Impulse grenade. Proximity mine. Shockwave grenades. Storm flipper. Okay. Storm flip. Alright, let me actually, real quick, just split these up. I know these are supposed to have 3. I think these only come with 2, but I'm going to make it 3 anyway. Just to be safe. So let's place down our boogie bomb. Whoa, that kind of acted a little spooky. Impulse grenade. Proximity mine. Shockwave grenades. And storm flip bottle. That didn't quite go in the item spawner, but that's okay. There's Airstrike. Junk Rift. That actually lagged me out a little bit there. Bottle rockets. Stick of dynamite. And remote explosives. Split these up. I'm not going to split that one up because I don't know the original count. I'm just going to assume it was that. Also, did I copy? I did not copy these yet. I need to do that. And there's a lot of items in this game. I know I already pre-counted these, but dang, dude, there's a lot of stuff to go through here. Starting with the airstrike, we'll put... Uh-oh. I made a little oops. I made a little whoopsie. I did it out of my order here, so let me fix that by just clearing that. Okay. Okay, and let's put the rest of the items in. Uh-oh, that did not go. Oh, it was a visual bug. Alright, well, at least we went into the right one. Okay. Next we have the boom box, the a fortress, the zapper trap, presents, fortress. What the heck? Okay. I think, oh, right here. There we go. Man, there are a lot of items here. Next we have the zapper trap. The presents. Sneaky snowman. Creeping cardboard. The bush. Rift to go and balloon. And snowman goes in there. These are more joke items than anything else. These don't matter as much in terms of their numbers, except for the balloon. Balloon goes in there. Look at that. It's even a little packet of them. Looks good. Last up is gliders, grappler, and the jetpack. I'll put gliders in here. I would say this one. The grappler and the jetpack. Now, there actually are a couple additional items I forgot about. Like, there are traps. So the damage trap, poison dart trap. And the traps here. Let me take a look. See. I don't know if trick tile actually counts. The chiller. I think ice blocks count. Bouncers do count though. Don't know about the speed boost. I'm gonna say yes. Anything else? Aside from, of course, I almost forgot the launch pads. I think that's it. Oh, and the cozy campfires. Hope that's enough. Start with the... what was the order? I think damage trap was first. Hopefully that went to the right spot. Yes, it did. I probably shouldn't include that many, though. I should probably only include a few of each kind. I'll just do it in order of how the inventory sorts it, and I'll just make that the order. I'm gonna just drop exactly 3 of these. Should go right here. Alright, at this one, I should drop 3 of these as well. I'm going to drop this one. I'm going to drop exactly 3. I will do the same with this one. Which should be 3. Uh-oh. Oh, there we go. Okay, it corrected itself. Drop the chiller. Uh-oh. It went to the wrong one. That's okay. Your items. Don't want to reset all, as that will actually reset my settings. Don't want to do that. So we grab the chiller. I gotta drop about... let's see. That's right, 3. Okay, so it goes in when you're... So, good thing to point out here, it actually just goes in. You drop it. Or wait, it goes in based on the one you're looking at. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take about half of these and just split them up. Keep the symmetry kind of looking thing intact. I'll just clear these items and add the last trap, which is the cozy campfire trap. Alright, now what I have to do, there's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. No way to split that up evenly. So what I'll do is take about 4 of them and move them accordingly. What the heck? Ah, no! What did you do? Oh. Okay, just selected a tile. That's okay. want to move it on forward or back. I just want to move it once. Make sure that's even. It's about even to me. That's good. And last, but certainly not least, I have to move these as well. I think that might actually just be the middle right here for these. Nope, one more over. Close though. And that is correct. Okay. One thing I want to do is I want to center these a little bit more in the middle in this direction. So it's 1, 2, 3. Okay. 1. I want to move this over an entire tile, I think. Let me double check that actually real quick. Yeah, I want to move it more or less a couple of tiles over. Let's see if I can get this evened out. This is going to take a little bit. As there are a lot of these to go through. Alright, there's a... Wow, there are a lot of these to go through, dude. But I want to make sure this is sort of even right off the bat. So I'm just going to select everything. I'll probably make a backup first. Actually, I should do that now. Okay. I think that's everything. Now, looking at the tiling here, I just have to space this out a certain way, and we're good to go. And this is actually the last step. I'll redo that. It, like, kind of moves stuff around the way it wasn't supposed to. I'm going to sort of guess where this has to go, because I have to select everything again if it's wrong. Let's take a look. So that's about a little over 2 tiles. Well, let's take a look how it looks on the other side. That's incredible. That happened to be right. Man. Alright. Well, to be honest with you, I don't think there's anything left for this map. This map is considered... I would consider this map now 100% finished. So, yep, that's it. The map's done. Got all those items, dude. No, now I think about it, for performance reasons, it might be a good idea to actually disable these once the game starts. Which channel is that? 23? So here's what I'm going to do as a final step. So I guess it's more like 99% finished now. But actually, you know what? Let me test to make sure the items work correctly. Man, that would suck if they didn't, though, because I already kind of did a lot of these. Yeah, looks like they're working, because they're all the same. The last thing I'll do is, just for performance reasons, I'm going to disable the items when you are away from them. I should have said this in advance, but that's okay. So I'm just going to do it for all 80 plus. A little painful to do, but I can make it happen. Disable when receiving from 23. That also disables. That also despawns the items, so keep that in mind. I should have thought about that in advance, but that's okay. We'll just fix it now. Yeah, it's a little inconvenient, but I can make it work. I already placed them down. I think it'd be harder to replace them down. At this point, I'll just go through the channels individually and set them up. And this will be the last thing I think I'll have to do. The main reason I'm doing this, and the only reason I'm doing it at all, really, is because of a performance reason. So that way the items don't despawn or spawn in. That way the items don't get in the way of the actual game and don't lag things down. There are a lot of items that are going to have to be kept spawned in otherwise, which could bog the game down just a slight bit. Now, it might lag a little bit when it gets rid of all 80 plus of these, but the only thing it might affect, though, is just the countdown. That's not too bad. But I'm not sure if it would. On a good connection, it really shouldn't affect much of anything. Honestly, this is, I'd say, the finished map. Kind of exciting, actually, to have this done. I spent so much time on this map, and now it's finally done. Even off-stream, I spent so much time before I started streaming these. Like, I spent a lot of time on this map. I probably put over, what, 8 hours, at least 8 hours into this, maybe more, maybe like 12 plus hours in this map. I'm gonna just guesstimate. I haven't been tracking how long I've been doing this. I'm just gonna guesstimate it's been over 12 hours, something like that. So it's been a long, long time. But I gotta say, it's coming along. It's gone a long way. And now it's finally ready for the public. Well, almost. I guess I have to set all these up first, but... Oh, I got a little disoriented there. Check that. There we go. In there. I might do a mini stream at the end of this, after this, where I'll actually invite people to come and play in the map. That'd be ideal, I think. I just spent a lot of time working on this, so it'd be nice to actually have it played. Instead of just, you know, being looked at. Oops, that's enable. Oh man, I messed that up. I don't want to enable this. I want to disable it, not enable it. Oh yeah, I guess there's one more thing I do have to do after this, actually. It's a very small and very quick tweak. I just have to up the speed of the verification sequencer. Just because it'll take too long to start games otherwise. So I'll probably have to, like, double its speed. Man, there's a lot of these. Also, quite frankly, I actually have to pee quite badly, but I'm going to keep pushing through. I really just want to have this finished. Whoa! What? What is that? That was a weird. That was a weird glitch. That was like very weird. I don't even know how I got to do that. Oh, I might figure it out. Oh, I see what happens. Okay. If you do it just right, get your mouse cursor on there fast enough, it glitches out the display. I don't know why it does that exactly, but it's a thing. Almost there. A few more rows to go. At least after this one. And again, I'm just doing this just as an optimization thing, so the items are despawned once the game actually starts. That way, it doesn't bog down the map. That way the game can focus on other aspects like builds and actual fighting, instead of focusing on the items that no one's going to be able to get to anymore. That's the enable channel. Uh-oh. Boy. Well, it turns out you can't have more than a set amount of channels being received. So you know what? I'm just going to restore that and call it a day. We're not going to worry about the despawn items. Hopefully the game will just manage it well. Because I can't... I'm just going to restore that, because if I can't do any, I'd rather not do one than if I can't do all. It's okay. They're still all in there. That's what matters. But, more importantly, let's go over here and speed the sequencer up just a little bit. I would say set it to about 60 instead of 30. Oops. Let's see. Not quite. Yep, that works. Alright. I would say this map is 100%. Actually, you know what though? Is that a little too fast, actually? Okay, look. It is kind of whizzing through that. I might just set it back to 60. I know it's going to take a little bit for that game to start up, but in case the connection has some issues, I want to make sure it's at least going to not totally bug out. Just to be on the... I don't know. I think I'm going to set the... I'm going to set the 70. I'm not going to do 69, even though it's a dank meme. Because I like that even number. Alright, let's... Oh, I can't back that up right now, but I'm going to wait for it so I can. Okay. That's it. That's a wrap. The map. Well, you know what I just realized? The other side doesn't have presets. Let's fix that. So all I gotta do is select this wall and all of its text. Whoops. I might not actually include this stuff. Can I not mirror it? I don't know. I don't want to not have it mirrored though. That's gonna be tough, actually. It's gonna be tough to port over. Problem is, I don't want players having to travel all the way over, though. Let me see if I can make this somewhat symmetrical, maybe. Not going too far. There we go. Back up just in case. Thing's missing. Actual shotgun, combat shotgun, button is missing. I think I know what I did wrong there. I need to fix that. I want to see if there's maybe just a quicker way to mirror this. There might not be a quick way to do this. This may have to be done manually, dude. Yeah. Here's what I can do, at least try to do, though. Okay, so there's a couple things I forgot about, like the reset issue. Make sure that does not drop. I have some fixings to do with that, but I want to just port the presets over. So this way, so that way you don't have to spend a ton of time going to the other side if you're closer to this side. I don't know if that's spaced out enough. Oh, looks like it. At least, I'm not sure, though. I don't think so. I think that's more. Alright, let's just walk straight. No. I don't know, that looks about right to me, but... Yeah, it looks about right. Okay, that was... not supposed to do that. I'm actually going to push these in as far as I can using... Oh, it's copying, okay. Okay. What? Hey! What's that for? Really, bro? Alright. Guess we're just gonna have to copy it manually. I don't remember the actual spacing for that, but I think that's supposed to be it. Yep, that's it. Okay. This starts a little tedious, but that's... oh. Hold on, I gotta, like... No. 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 Okay, please select anyone, please. Anyone but that one, please. And they're on the other side of the wall. Okay, that's not good. Please stop. Please, for all things holy, please stop. What is wrong with you, man? Okay, this one first. There we go. Holy cannoli, that is really annoying. Oh, I rotated. Okay, I think we actually got these in the right spots. Let me check the channels. Just be safe. Okay, I'm just gonna do all 6 of these manually. As simple as I physically can. No. It's selecting everything but the one I want. It is literally selecting everything except the ones I actually want. Okay, it's selecting the pump one too, so I'll just select that and the reset button. Alright, I gotta wait on that. What the? Hey! This ain't being weird. Holy crap, dude. Alright, there we go. It's a little hard to get this symmetrically ported. But we're trying. Close. Yes. Okay. Let me make sure that spacing. I should have checked the spacing first, I think, but. Heavy shotgun's supposed to be like that, I think. I think it's too far away, actually. Is it? It might actually be right. I can't tell. Honestly, I can't even tell. I really can't. I am 90% certain that's correct. Come on, bro. Come on. Didn't select pump text, though. Preset text is kind of overriding the pump text. I literally did not get that selected. There we go. Yeah, heavy heavy shotgun looks about right to me. Check that. That should be actually right in the middle. I'm using the lines on the... Oh, no. On the wall as a reference guide where everything's supposed to really be. I feel like something's off, but I can't tell. Maybe it's just me. I feel like the heavy shotgun is not in button is not in the right place. Maybe it is. I think it just is. It looks weird. It's just I think it's just the text. It's hard to get these on the other side. After the pump, is there anything else? Just the charge, which is not actually implemented yet. Mostly because it's not in creative mode. Alright, so text selecting thingamajig. There we go. I'll do the same thing for the pump shotgun text. Okay. I actually need to push that just a little bit more. That's good enough. Close. Where's that supposed to be on the wall, actually? Okay, that's easy to figure out. This is the last change. And that's it. Okay. I'll have to test those real quick and make sure they actually work. But that's it, and I have to change some settings. That works. That's working. That's working. Yep. Alright, now I have to get this configured to be a real map. Back that up real quick. All I gotta do now is make sure that's, I'm gonna set that 10 seconds and 3 seconds. I'll make this best of like 3 sort of thing. Info type, we'll do none. Let's do time of day is random. Okay. Everything else doesn't matter. Let's make that just 100% health. Let's turn player flight off. And then let's do spawn at 1, pull rounds 2. most round wins will be the condition. Let's turn auto start off. I'm kind of happy with everything, to be honest with you. Let's call this 1.0 because this is done. Change the description around. This one is a fully both a V1 map and a free map and it's both one more and free for all map. One single package. Everything will automatically text the package. Okay, let me use the search part 3. There are only 2 players in semi-additional will be used. If there are 3 plus players, 3 or more players, free I can't believe I actually got 150 on that. Yep, I'm good at that. Looks good to me. Let's back it up. Alright. And that is it. This map is 100% finished. So, thank you for watching if you did. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye. To be honest, I might actually open this up for some actual gameplay. But I believe for now, that is